Hello, welcome to another ConnectWise Tuesday. I am going to open up availability for all of you to feel free to chat with me. So if you're comfortable, feel free to unmute yourself. I'm just getting things transitioned into the live portion on Facebook, and we'll get started here in just a moment. While I am doing that, I do want to apologize. I do not have video today, unfortunately. Fortunately, unfortunately, I got a new computer, and I haven't gotten a desktop in a very, very long time, and I purchased a desktop, and therefore, I am now in a position where I don't have a camera, so it should be arriving tomorrow. So no camera today, so you guys just get to chit chat with me. We'll be doing some screen share. So today is for those that haven't joined us before, I'm Rose with Baring McKinley. I have been in the industry for about 8 years, consulting for the past year, and Baring McKinley is a management consulting firm. So we work with ConnectWise users, manage, sell, automate, and then we do a lot of different aspects of management to the business, financial health, things of that nature as well. So we do every Tuesday something new. This Tuesday is Sell. So if you're here for Manage, by all means, stay aboard, and you can ask questions during this time as well pertaining to Manage. I also know Manage very well. If you're here for Automate, unfortunately, I'm not your girl, just not technical, so I can't help you with that. Sorry, guys. But if you're here for Sell, you're definitely here in the right place. So I want to start off by seeing, do we have any particular questions or something that we were hoping to gain some additional insight on the Sell arena when we joined today, if our intent was to be here for Sell? And if you're not comfortable opening your mic and talking, I highly encourage you to feel free to use the Q&A box or to also use the chat box, and I will answer those questions as I see them coming in. No questions to start? All right. So I wanted to kind of circle back for any of you that were with us last Tuesday, or not last Tuesday, but I guess the last Tuesday that we did Sell. We were talking about linking tabs and quantities, and we were having some issues with those links coming through. And I found the error of our ways, so I'm going to kind of talk a little bit through that. It wasn't so much an error as it is that ConnectWise made adjustments to bundles, and when they did that, it kind of impacted how those links work as well. Show of hands, how many were with us during that call and recall what I'm referencing here? No one. Okay, so I'll give you guys a quick recap, and if it's something that you want me to dive deeper on because you missed that piece of it, by all means, please feel free to let me know so that we can make sure that we're getting that over to you as well. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do a screen share here. Bear with me one moment. Okay. And let me just make sure I've got our chat box up and ready to go. And again, as we go along, please don't be shy to open your mic, ask questions, shoot it in the chat box, Q&A box. So we were working on some bundles the last time we were here. Is there anybody here that needs a little bit of a deeper insight on bundles? Just a show of hands. Okay, a couple of you. All right, perfect. So we'll back it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and create a new quote. I'm just going to grab my basic hardware software template. I'm going to put this in my XYZ test company. And I'll put myself as the who we're quoting. And attach. I'm telling you, for any of you that have this Jorge Smith in your system, he doesn't like to receive his invoices. So he never provides that email address. All right, there we go. And for any of you that are using Sell Premium or Standard, and even with Basic, bundling is available and is an option. So you don't have to have like a high-level license in order to do this. So the way that we bundle is we come in, and we can bundle a couple of different ways, right? So I can come in and pick a bunch of hardware that I want to go under one thing here. So I am going to, this is connected to our sandbox, so we may not have much in the way of hardware. So we are just going to grab a few things here. We're going to pretend like that's hardware, even though it's not. And if I wanted to make these one, just, one product, because I don't want to show it on the actual proposal. I'm just going to minimize some of these windows, sorry. I come here, just so you can see, we should all be pretty well averse of this is what it would look like on the actual proposal. But maybe I don't want them to see everything as a line item, and I want to show them one line item. What controls that is if we come into our quote setup, our more drop down, our edit publish settings. Now, if you're making these settings on the template side, it would just be in your publish settings tab up here on the template. But if you're doing it on a quote by quote basis, you go to that quote setup and do the more drop down. So once we're in here, we see here that we have these bundle options. So print bundle header line, print bundle item lines, and then print bundle header price. And if I wanted them to see the item prices, I can put that in there as well. Where there's value in doing that is if you are selling a bundle for less than what you would be charging for something if they purchased it individually, right? So if you said, listen, if you go this whole way, here's how much we would charge for everything individually a la carte. As a bundle, you save, 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever. And you can have your bundle price be something different. So that's where this print bundle item prices has value. Otherwise, more times than not, partners are not really that interested in showing the prices. If they were, we probably wouldn't be doing a bundle, right? So we're going to come over here with these already checked. If you don't want them to see the line items, we only want them to see the header itself. We uncheck the print bundle item lines and hit save. Whatever settings I put at this level, those settings are global to all of the tabs inside of my prepare content screen. So that would apply to hardware, software, services, anything that I put bundles on, okay? So if I come here to the hardware, I can drop this down and say select all. Now, if I only wanted, like, let's say I wanted support to be left out and I wanted these here, I would drop this down and I'd go bundle, create bundle. So the part number, this is kind of whatever part number I want to make it. If you have a predefined part number, if you purchase it as a bundle already from your distributor and you want to use your distributor's part numbers because it came through an Excel sheet, by all means, feel free. This can also be an internal product ID. If you're not bringing the bundle in to manage, you can also use that just as a very generic part number for all intents and purposes on this proposal. So we're just going to say CW Tuesday test bundle and a quantity of 1. And it doesn't have to be a quantity of one. So where we see bundles a lot of times for any of our managed service providers, show of hands, how many of you here are in managed services? A good bulk of you. Okay, perfect. So where we see value in proposing bundles are in managed service offerings, right? And so there's a couple of different ways that we can go about doing that. I can say that you have one bundle, and inside of that bundle, I have 10 managed desktops. I have 2 managed servers. I have a managed switch, right? And I can have it listing those out. But all they see is just a quantity of one because that's what their monthly recurring is going to be. They're purchasing one bundle that includes all that. We also have the methodology of saying that every single bundle is a one-to-one. So if when I sell you a managed workstation, that managed workstation comes with, let's say, an Automate agent plus a WebRoot license plus some sort of like maybe an umbrella, Cisco umbrella on it to be scanning in the background. That's part of every managed workstation I do. I can sell you those products individually, right, on a one-off basis, but maybe I want to sell it to you as a bundle, as a managed workstation, and that's our stack. So in that case, if I was selling you 10 managed workstations, I would have a bundle quantity of 10 with a one-to-one ratio, right? Because included in every bundle is one of each of these. So it depends on how you're presenting that data and how you choose your support packages and your managed packages to be to determine whether you want that bundle quantity to be multiple. And that's from a managed service perspective. If we're talking about bundles from a hardware perspective, I might say inside one bundle is going to be a keyboard, a mouse, a monitor, and a desktop, a tower, right? And you need 3 new computers. Now I'll have a quantity of 3 of those bundles, right? So use your bundle quantity to represent how you want that to show. You know, am I giving you multiple bundles of this, or am I giving you multiple things inside of a bundle and calling it a bundle? Questions on that? Okay. So we've created the bundle, and we know that it's a bundle because if you note, it's gray versus all the other products which are not, okay? And in this bundle, it shows our override price is $350 because it took the accumulation of these 2 items here, and it also has these quantities here. So we know that this is part of the bundle because these are also a lighter gray. It's hard to tell when I roll over them, so I apologize. And this one has no color associated to it. Additionally, if you look at support, it's in line with CW Tuesday test bundle part number, as opposed to the indentation you get for these that kind of indicate that they're a sub-product of something else. Another easy differentiator is that we have the ability to adjust this quantity, but if you see I click here, I can't adjust this quantity, and I'll show you guys how to open that up so that you can, but by innately, we just cannot. I can update my bundle quantity and I can update my support. So here's an example of when we have multiple products associated on one tab, but only part of them belong to a bundle. So if I come to the PDF up here and I refresh that, we can take a look here, and I'll make it actually bigger for you guys. Here is our bundle header, okay? Here's our bundle pricing, and I didn't list out the items in it. So as you can see, we have just the one product for the bundle, and then we also have the additional product for support, okay? Now, these are just as simple as hiding the manufacturer part number. This is in our NFR, so it's not prepped for that, so I do apologize. So traditionally, for the bulk of you that are on with us, that would be hidden, and you would just see these here, okay? Now, if we did want to see those line items, we would just simply come back to our quote setup, drop down our more, edit publish settings, and we'll print bundle item lines and hit save. Prepare content, refresh our PDF, And now you can see the bundle exists, the line items exist, the quantities for those line items exist. However, no pricing exists for them. So it's just automatically assumed into the bundle. Let me do this for ease of use on the eyes. We're going to go to Edit tab and hide MFP and hit Save. Inside of your Edit tab settings, you have a bunch of hidden fields. And so for those of you that are using bundles, when you start using bundles, creating it's really easy. It's just knowing how to get it to behave right that can be a bit of a challenge, okay? So if inside of here you said, well, I want to quote a bundle, but I don't necessarily need that bundle to come inside of Manage. Some of you might be thinking to yourselves, well, why would I create a bundle and not bring it into Manage? And what would be an example of creating a bundle and wanting to bring it into Manage? So the first answer to that is anytime you're quoting anything that is an agreement, you do not want to bring that in as a bundle into Manage, because inside of Manage, you cannot convert a bundle class item into an agreement, okay? So you have to break it apart anyways. So for my managed service providers that are going, hey, bundles would be pretty awesome to use because we don't want people feeling like they can pick and choose what they do and don't have inside their managed services, you would be 110% correct. The gotcha to that, though, is that you want to make sure that you do something called ignoring bundle headers. So if I were to come down here, and I think I have it right here, this is actually a hidden field inside of your Manage. So, or I'm sorry, not inside your Manage, inside of your Sell. And to get to your hidden fields, if you're not aware, clicking any one of these pencils in your Edit tab pod will actually open up the ability to kind of manipulate these pods so that you can redesign them how you want them to be. But then you can also click the pencil again, and whatever pod you click that edit pencil in, that's where you're going to unhide the field to. Why that's important to know is if I come out of here, we know that this is about tab details, right? So anybody really has access to this. If they can get to the tab details, they have access to this. This pod right here is for admin settings only. So if I don't want my team to have the ability to pick and choose when to ignore bundle headers, I want to set it and forget it on my template, I'm going to open it up in here. But if I do want it to be accessible, then I'm going to open it up in here. So if you accidentally did it this way previously, prior to all of this, and you say, oh, well, I do want them to be able to do it, I can grab this and I can move this up here, and it's now part of my tab details box as well. So if I just hit save, it now lives here. So anybody can see it. You don't have to be an admin to see it, okay? So if you do happen to click the wrong box by accident, it's just that simple to move it. You don't have to go back, rehide it, and unhide it. So we come into the pencil, and then these are all hidden fields within inside of Sell. And all of these fields do something different and have different impacts on your environment and how your quote behaves and how your tab behaves. So for this one, we would have just come in here if it wasn't hidden, or if it was still hidden, and we would just look for the word bundle. And as you can see, it says that it's already checked, so we don't have to do anything with it. But if not, we would have checked it. So this box tells it, save. This box tells it that all I want you to do when I associate my products to the opportunity by grouping by line item is to not see that bundle header as a line item. Just give me the things that are associated below it. And that's exactly what it'll bring over to Manage. So it won't try and create that test bundle header that we created as a product. Where there may be some value in creating bundles and allowing them to come into Manage is if you sell and want to invoice something very specifically as a bundle. For instance, if I want to invoice my bundle to be my custom PC, and I want you to see the components to it, or maybe I don't want you to see the components to it, either or, I have the ability to bring that bundle header into Manage, which then allows that bundle header to flow through my invoicing screen. So it really depends on what you're doing with the product and how you want to bring it over into invoicing as well, on whether or not you'll do that. But whenever it comes to doing managed services, any type of agreement class products, I always recommend that you ignore bundle headers so that you don't have any issues at the conversion process later after it's been won. So we're going to go ahead and hit save here, and that will prevent that from coming over. Okay. With bundles, we have a lot of fields that we need to unhide so that we can make some adjustments to them if we choose to. This is where we start differentiating how the licensing levels kind of start spreading apart away a little bit. So if you have ConnectWise Basic and you're on with us, you will not have the ability to unhide any of these fields, which means your ability to say ignore bundle headers is not an option for you. It's always going to bring it in. You have to be standard or above to be able to find those hidden fields. Anybody who's standard or above will have all of these options as we go through it. So one of the things that we mentioned is that I can't change these quantities. And the reason that being is that we've set these quantities on the line item level and put them into a bundle. What we can do though is we can customize our, what I like to call the input grid, or just your grid layout here, to show you the bundle quantities, because that's what we really want to edit at this point. So if I come here, and I did that kind of quick while I was talking, I apologize. We click the pencil here to the left in the grid, and that opens up again, just like we did in the back end of the tab, a bunch of fields that are there that we can add into our grid view. And this, from a licensing perspective, is available to everybody. So in the edit layout field, I'm just going to type in the word bundle, okay? And I'm going to select bundle quantity. And as you see, it added bundle quantity on the end here. So I'm just going to move this to the left of quantity for me, because that's where it makes most sense for me. And I'll hit finished and save changes. It's not going to like that because I didn't change default. I might have this one already in here, but we're just going to do it again. So now if I wanted to update configuration in CW Tuesday to have, let's say, 3 configurations and 2 CW Tuesdays within that bundle, my quantity of the bundle is still 1, but as you see, making my bundle quantity 3 and 2 updates the initial quantity, which updates the extended value of it. So now when I come back to my PDF, I now have those updated here as well. Okay, so I still have just a quantity of 1. If I wanted to add support in, let's say support was something that I meant to bring into the bundle, but I forgot to check mark or added it later, I can easily add it to an existing bundle. So all I have to do here is just click on the box to the left, drop down this arrow, select bundles, and say add to bundle. If I had multiple bundles inside of my Sell instance right now in this quote, they would all show here. But because I only have the 1, I would select this one. Something to note is that if I had, let's say, something on the services tab and I wanted to add it to my CW Tuesday test bundle, by coming here, I can do that. I can see the bundles across other tabs. But what innately will happen is it will take whatever's on my services tab and move it to the corresponding tab with the bundle. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through your processing. So I'm going to hit OK here. And now it's all bundled in together. So for this one, we felt good letting the line items show, but maybe in the next bundle, I don't want to let the line items show. So I'm going to come here and I'm just going to copy these. I can't because they're in a bundle. All right, I'm going to just duplicate the tab. Because we oftentimes find where certain aspects of what we're proposing, we want to show either with the quantities, maybe within that same bundle we don't want to show quantities, or within that same proposal we don't want to show quantities or line items, and that's okay too. So as I mentioned, when you do the more drop down, whatever you select, it's going to be the default for everything, but there's always a way almost always a way to override what you're doing on a tab by tab basis. So we're going to say no line items. Okay. So what I need to do, and any of you that I've worked with in the past, you guys should be familiar with this field is printed. If you're not, is printed controls on a line item level whether we're printing it on the document. So this check mark here, if I said I didn't want these to show on the PDF or in the proposal, all I have to do is uncheck those. So if I refresh my PDF, sometimes when they're inside the bundle, it's a little wonky. Oh, it looks like it worked well. So if ever you already have something bundled and you're like, oh, I didn't want it to print out and it's still printed, sometimes those settings get stuck. It's a software, you know, and it glitches occasionally. If that ever happens, all you have to do is unbundle and rebundle them, and you'll be able to make those adjustments as necessary. Thankfully, that didn't happen here, but as you can see, we have one bundle under hardware that shows our bundle with all of the line items and quantities. Whereas in the second tab, we have just the bundle with the price. It doesn't show any of the line items. So you can produce that in both instances in a single proposal, but what's really important to note is that in order to have that option to do it, you do need to by default tell the proposal that you want it to show quantities, and then we can override this here on a tab by tab or item by item basis. Let's say that I want you to see everything else, but I don't necessarily want you to see the configuration side of that, right? So I can just do it this way and hit refresh. So it just gives you a lot more functionality, a lot of options for how you want to display that and present that into your client base and your prospects. The other thing is the ability to override the price within your bundle. So right here, this shows that each of our prices are at 200, 200, and 150 for an extended value of 1100. If we want the ability to override that, first and foremost, you have to open that setting up. So you go into settings, and then we go to, I believe this is under quote preparation, quote setup, and it is right here, enable edit bundle price. Okay, so this is what allows you to edit the bundle pricing at the bundle level. What will happen is once we make that adjustment, you'll see it here, it's automatically going to take however much you're taking off of the bundle and is going to distribute that in a line item by line item basis. Okay, you guys will see that here in just a moment. I do it to our primary one here. So let's say I wanted this to be $1,000. You can see here that it put the margin at 233 for each of them, and it zeroed out the price here. So what it was able to do is it was able to identify what it needed to in order to get us to that $1,000 price. Now, we talked a little bit about displaying the bundle information as a value and then showing the actual revenue override prices being something less than that. This clearly isn't going to give you that safe representation because it's showing you what that value is to get it to 1,000. So one of the things that we would need to do is we would need to open up a couple more fields. Again, one to be exact, which is our bundle price. Let's just move that bundle quantity, bundle price, and finished. Okay, so now here I have a bundle price where I can say my bundle price is 5. Let's see, I have those at 250. Let's go 275. 275. And 100. Okay. So if I come now back to my quote setup and my more screen and I edit publish settings, I can print bundle item prices, publish and deliver. Oh no, I don't know why I went to publish and deliver. Sorry guys. PDF refresh. And it's not printing my bundle item price. Okay. So, and I apologize, they did an update to the bundle items probably about 3 weeks ago. And so some of these things have been representing a little bit different than what we're used to seeing on it. So give me just one moment here. We're going to create a view. Show of hands, how many of you guys are familiar with your output grid layout editor? I got a couple. Okay, perfect. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the output grid layout editor, what that does is it tells Sell what you want it to show in Order Porter as well as on the proposal. So what it's controlling are these columns here, right? So we don't have a lot that we can control from the form design aspect, how things total, how they behave in certain aspects and represent what's hard-coded in the back end of the tables. But what we do have control over is the actual grid view of what's being presented out. So we can change that simply by coming here and clicking the Add button to create a new output. By default, it's going to give you your baseline recurring. So what we do is we determine what's important to us, what do we want to see, and what don't we want to see. Again, just like in our grid editor when we were adding in our bundle stuff, this is where we would see all of those items at, and we can tell the system what we want to actually pull into it to export out to the client. So whatever you select here when you're in the output grid editor, it is client-facing or prospect-facing. So it's very important to keep that in mind. So one of the things we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say bundle, and we can say bundle price, and we can say bundle quantity. Now, where I found that bundle quantity comes kind of heavy into play is we actually ran into an instance with a partner not too long ago, just like within the past week or so, where they had a recurring view because we don't want necessarily this price and this extended price on our recurring tabs to show up when we deliver that proposal. We want them just to see what the recurring data is because typically these are either going to be one-time zeros or they're going to be duplicates, and it's just a lot of information unnecessary. We want to keep it clean and simple. So when we had that baseline in place, before ConnectWise provided the last update, their bundle quantities for their managed services came through successfully under the quantity column. After the update, we had to actually bring in the bundle quantity. So for this, because we're making a bundle-specific view, we're actually just going to go ahead and grab the bundle quantity, move that over, and we're going to grab our bundle price and move that over. And then I'm going to uncheck the ones here that I don't want. So in this case, I don't want my recurring, and I don't want my extended recurring. Oh, no, I do want extended price. Where's my extended recurring? And if you have access to these, I recommend building one and playing with it just to kind of see how you can get it to deliver the type of information that you're looking for. And I'm going to get rid of my regular quantity. Then you can preview it. I'm not usually a fan of the preview, to be honest with you. You do need to give it a name. And then you can hit save and close and make sure that active button is checked. When you create these, one of the things that you have to do if you're not familiar is uploading metadata. Metadata impacts how it sends the information out to the Order Porter server so that this grid can be accessible via Order Porter as well. So we're going to uncheck that. If we didn't do this right here, and we found exactly how we wanted our PDF to show up, but then on the downside, we want them to see it, well, not on the downside, but just on the flip side, we want them to see it on Order Porter. If I don't upload this metadata, Order Porter is still going to show the old way. It's not going to show you that current view even if you selected it. Okay, so now that's out there, that's good to go. We can go back to our quote. We hit open. We come to prepare content. Now, if I want this to show up with that grid, what I do is I come and I edit my tab. I know edit grid layout is where innately we want to go, but that layout is for your, what I call the input grid. It's what you physically see. Your output grid is here. So we're going to drop that down and we'll select our CW Tuesday bundle and we hit save and close. So now if I were to come into my PDF, so you can see here that I'm charging our bundle price is $275. So, goodness, it's still not representing properly. So we can see our bundle price is $275, and this is probably where we would put our unit price as being a certain amount as opposed to using the override. And again, one of their updates. So I do apologize. We're going to make a slight adjustment here. Edit this. Where's my bundle price on here? Let me zero this out. Bundles can be tricky when it gets to these special pricing. So I do apologize, guys. Bear with me just a moment while I get this back. Prepare content. Okay. Let's call this 150 and 150 and 100. That sounds good. Okay. All right, let's see how that generates for us. I don't know why it's not generating our bundle price up top here. I may need to uncheck my setting. So not giving our discounted price. So give me just one moment. We're going to come back in one more time here. And quote preparation, quote setup, enable edit bundle price, save, quotes, open, prepare. All right, let's see if we unbundle. And rebundle. All right, so I'm not quite sure why our bundle price is not showing up there, so I apologize because we want that too. I'm going to have to take a look into that. I feel like every time I start working with these things, I'm telling you. But they just did some updates, and it's kind of made working with bundles a little bit wonky. So I'm going to make a note here, and I'll get you guys an answer on that one for our next call that we do next month for that. Just grab a pen that works. Okay. So questions so far aside from the bundle price? And again, I apologize about that. I don't know why it's not bringing that value up, because that's the purpose of this, is we can say, normally we charge 200 in the bundle, I'm going to charge you 150. And so we want this 150 to be 150. We want this 150 to be our, what is that, 450, and this to be 200. So we can have a bundle price right here that's going to show that. And for some reason that isn't coming through on this bundle, so I'll have to take that up with Sell to get that information in place for you guys. Okay, no current questions in regards to the bundle. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you convert these over to a one opportunity, will it automatically create this bundle in Manage, or, under an agreement, or you're going to have to manually create it?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. So the way that it works, so as an agreement, the answer is no, right? Because we can't convert bundles into agreements. Manage knows that it's a deficiency, and I think it's probably roadmap because there's been a lot of complaints on it, but it's been something that's been out there for years. So we all hope and kind of keep our fingers crossed that it can get to that point where the agreements can assume bundles. Let me actually show you, give me just one moment here, and I'll log into our sandbox so you can see kind of how that behaves when you bring it in. Okay, you guys can see my ConnectWise, right? Show of hands if you can see ConnectWise. All right, beautiful. I always like to make sure that when I shared my screen that it's like sharing enough. Otherwise, sometimes I just keep going and I don't even know that you guys can't see it. Okay, so if I were to come into here and let's unignore bundle headers. Hit save and close. And then same thing with this one. Nope, wrong way. Prepare content, tab, ignore bundle headers. Well, you know what? I'll leave that so you guys can actually see the difference between the two. Save and close. Okay, so if I come here and I attach an opportunity, it's number 25, group by line item, save, and take my item. Do that one more time. Opportunity. Group by line item. There we go. So you see here it wants to create this header, right? Because this doesn't already exist in our system. And by default, it's going to ask you what this is. We tell it that it's a bundle class. Its type, we'll just call it other charge, category. I'm just going to call it hardware, and it's going to be sell. And then here's all the line items that already exist in the system today. Okay, so I'm going to hit save and come back to manage. Sales, my opportunities, number 25. Okay, so if I come look at my products list here, this here is the bundle. Okay, so this is the one where we didn't tell it to ignore bundle headers. This here is everything that came off that second tab where we told it to ignore bundle headers. It brought them in as specific line items. Okay, so from this, if I were to try and convert to like an agreement as an example, and create a new agreement, bring over my PDF. You see, I don't have the option to bring over those other line items. Everything that is part of that bundle the system will not let me bring it over to an agreement. Does that make sense? Likewise, while this is amazing right here and how the system works with this, I love how it puts it all together. If I click on this here, this is how I can control invoicing. Down here is a box for any bundle product that has a components that shows you what's involved in it. I'm going to move this up to the top just so you guys can kind of see it line by line. I can go ahead at this point and I can make decisions about how these products behave. Come on. There we go. How these products behave on the invoice. So I was talking about if you wanted to bring over, certain components and you want the bundle to show on the invoice, you could bring it into ConnectWise, and this is how you would bring it in. And these components will show up, and I can say, first of all, that I want it to use list price or I want it to use calculated price. Okay. I could also say that I want it to use standard cost or I want it to use calculated cost. So if I say calculated, this product is going to calculate whatever's in these components. Otherwise, the list and the standard is what it saw it calculated at in Sell. Okay. Secondarily, I can come here and I can tell each of these how to behave on an invoicing. Say action, update invoice, display options. So on the invoice, I can say I do not want it to display the product ID. I do want it maybe to display the description and the quantity, but I don't want the price and the extended price to be there. So I can hit save. And that tells these products how to behave on that invoice. So when I go to create the invoice, I'm controlling what the client sees from an invoicing perspective, the same way that I controlled what the client/prospect saw during the proposal stage as well. All right, so that one's ready. I'll show you what that looks like. If I come through here, I'm going to just convert this to a sales order so that I can go ahead and oh, I'm in the product, sorry. I'm not in the opportunity. So I can kind of show you guys what that looks like. Convert and just generate an invoice on demand. Next. Create new sales order. Next. I'm only going to bring the bundle with me. Finish. Save. Create invoice. I'm going to grab non-service and service class products because I have a hodgepodge inside that bundle at this stage as a test. And so you can see all 4 products are there. So it's going to invoice the value. Okay. And then I come here and I say print invoice. All right. I have to ask, can you guys see the invoice as it popped up? Show of hands if you can. I didn't think so. Okay, give me 1 second so I can get that invoice into a browser window that you guys can see. Okay, show of hands. Can you guys see the invoice now? Awesome. Okay. So as you can see, just based off of what we said, here's our bundle. Okay. Here's the quantity, here's the value, and then we said go ahead and show the description and show the quantity, but we're not going to break down individual pricing, right? So that's how products work inside of ConnectWise with bundling. Here's the gotcha about that. Once we're done and beyond this particular opportunity with that bundle, if we go back into our manage and we go to pull that bundle again and look at our product catalog for it. Let's see, where's my, wasn't that one right here? There are no components with it. It is just the product. And in order for me to make this a permanent bundle, I would have to come in and associate the product to it. So there's pros and cons to this, okay? One of the pros to this is, let's say we are selling workstations, servers, solutions in general that our dynamic, right? Maybe we want to always show it as Dell Optiplex or, HP ProBook or whatever, however we want to value that to show up as a product. It allows us to individualize the components on a quote by quote basis, and we don't have to continue to create new bundle headers, and we can bring everything through, and we can allow the system to process it without having to create a bundle header every time. So what we would do, let's say in that instance, if I go back to Sell and back to my prepare content, and I come, let's go to my software tab. I can come in and I can source that bundle header. Okay, so here's my CW Tuesday bundle, and I can attach that. As soon as Sell will allow. Okay, and so we come back to prepare content here, and that bundle header exists just by itself. But if I wanted to come in now, and maybe I wanted to utilize the specific components that go under that, I just come to my utilize. Let's go Sell. I'm going to grab this. And I don't have a live utilize, so I have to do it manually, so I apologize. It's spinning so slow. I feel like it got stuck. See if it brought it over. It did, okay. And because I don't want to go through that wait again, let's just say monitor. And let's say it was an utilized product, right? I'm going to put a value with it. Oh, that's a really cheap workstation. I wish I could have gotten my new computer for $100. That would have been great. Okay, and let's see, we're going to go with 2 monitors. Now, I can take these two, add to bundle, and you see it sees it automatically that it's a bundle, okay? So I'm going to hit OK. Oh, you know what, it saw the other bundles. I'm sorry, let me unbundle those. Remember I told you it'll move your product? It moved my product. Let me unbundle those and see if I've got too many with the same bundle name on it. I apologize. Remove from bundle. Cut. And software. And paste. Try that again. It may not let us because I'm doing it on one that has already this bundle on it. Bundle, add to bundle. See. Yeah, so this bundle here already exists on this quote, but ordinarily what it would do is it would allow me to put these two bundles together. I might just have to make it a third bundle, which I don't want to do. Create a bundle. $91, okay. And then this one we will ignore bundle headers on so it doesn't duplicate it in the system again. Save and close. And we come to the PDF. We refresh. So there's our bundle, okay? And then we would come over to our opportunity. Group by line item, save. Try that again. Oh, I forgot I'm bringing new product in. Non-inventory, non-inventory. Non-inventory, non-inventory. Hardware, hardware. We'll call that control. And save. So I'm getting some weird errors. I'm not quite sure why we're getting those errors right now, but I think Sell is having some issues. As we saw, the product was having a hard time coming over to the system. So that's going to make it hard for me to kind of show you how that works, and I apologize. I don't know why these aren't coming over. Everything's in here properly. Let's go look at our opportunity. Should still be open. It is still open, so there's nothing with the opportunity that would be preventing it. And nothing else came through, right? Nope. All right, we're going to try one more time and see if we can get it to refresh. Let's go to our product catalog, see if that Dell came in. Okay, so as you can see, it's just there's an error inside of Sell right now in the communication channel. It brought Dell over. Let's see if we can see it on the opportunity. Well, for some reason, it's not bringing it over to the opportunity. Let me refresh the Sell one more time. This is not normally an issue. I just think that they have kind of a glitch going on right now, so I apologize for that. Let's try to save again. It's seeing the manage items. And we just want to make sure that it appends over to our. Okay, so we're going to have to look into it. Maybe I'll try it again when offline, when everything seems to be sorted out. It's bringing the products over. For some reason, it's not attaching it to the opportunity. So I just think there's a little bit of a glitch going on at the moment. And it could be also that I chose an Edelized product in our NFR going into our sandbox. So I'll take a look at that as well. But the whole purpose of that was to kind of show is that you can have the bundle header inside of ConnectWise, and you can use that to bring in additional products under them as a customization each time without any issues that you have to worry about there. So I apologize that this seemed to be a little bumpy and glitchy with some of the updates. Sometimes this is how we find those. We don't work a lot here at Barry McKinley with a lot of bundles, but if you're running into any problems or you need some additional guidance or assistance on bundles, you know, get 30 minutes on my calendar, let me know what you need. We'll spend 30 minutes and look at it if there's, something that we need to dive in deeper on, we can look at, an engagement outside of that to dive in deeper. But that 30 minutes of us just sitting and chit-chatting is kind of our way of saying thank you for being here and investing in yourself and your time to learn more about the tools. So that wraps us up for today. I will be back on in 2 Tuesdays. For anybody that is planning on attending next week's session, we are not doing next week's session because they are doing the remote version of what was once Automation Nation. I forget what it's called. ConnectWise Unite, I think is what it's called now. I'm sure you guys have all seen the pop-ups throughout your tools. So if you've registered for that, please go and get some value out of the free virtual training that ConnectWise is giving you. To not attempt to compete with that or make any type of waves in that scenario, we chose not to do ConnectWise Tuesday next week. But if you have questions and you need any assistance, please reach out to us. Otherwise, we'll see you guys again in a couple of weeks. Our next session will kick off with our first Tuesday of the month being managed. So look forward to chatting all then. Have a wonderful day, guys.